What rule did your parents have that you only understood after they died? Growing up, my parents had one rule that never made sense. Never let your Uncle Desmond into this house. Not for anything. Not ever. I was maybe 8 when I first asked why. My dad just said because I said so, and my mom left the room. Desmond was my dad's older brother. Every Christmas he'd send a card with a $20 bill inside, and every year my dad would burn it in the sink. "We don't take his money," he'd say. I thought my parents were just cruel to him. When I turned 16, I asked again. My mom sat me down and said, "Promise me, if anything ever happens to us, you don't open that door for him." I laughed. "Mom, he sends me birthday cards." She grabbed my wrist so hard it hurt. "Promise me." I promised just to make her let go. My parents died 6 months ago. Car accident on the highway, both of them. I was 24 and suddenly alone in the house I grew up in, drowning in paperwork I didn't understand. 3 days after the funeral, there was a knock at the door. It was Desmond. Nice suit, sad smile, holding a casserole dish. "Nephew," he said, "I'm so sorry. Can I come in?" And I stood there in the doorway with my mother's voice screaming in my head. "Actually, I'm not feeling well," I said. He nodded like he understood. "Of course, but we should talk soon. About the estate. There are things your parents never told you." He came back the next day. And the next, always with food, always with that smile. On the 4th visit, he brought a folder. "I've been handling your father's affairs," he said through the screen door. "There's a second mortgage on this house. Your parents were behind on it. I've been paying it for years to keep you kids from losing everything. I just need you to sign this so I can keep helping." I almost opened the door. My hand was on the latch. Then I remembered the $20 bills burning in the sink. "Leave the folder," I said. "I'll look at it." His smile flickered. "It's time sensitive. Leave it." That night, I called my parents' lawyer. I read him the papers Desmond wanted me to sign. There was a long silence. "Do not sign that," he said. "That's a quitclaim deed. Signing it transfers the entire house to Desmond for $1. My mouth went dry. "There's no second mortgage. Your parents owned that house outright, paid off 8 years ago." The lawyer told me to come to his office the next morning. What he showed me made my hands shake. 30 years ago, my grandmother died and left everything to be split between her 2 sons. Desmond was the executor. He forged my father's signature and took all of it. My dad took him to court and lost, because it was Desmond's word against a signature that looked real. My dad never spoke to him again. "Your father," the lawyer said, "spent years afraid Desmond would try the same thing with his estate. He left instructions. If Desmond ever showed up with papers, you were to bring them straight to me." Desmond came back that evening. This time I opened the door. "Come in," I said, smiling. He stepped inside for the first time in my life, looking around like he owned the place. "I knew you'd see reason," he said. "Where do I sign?" I handed him the folder back. On top of his forged deed was a copy of my grandmother's original will, and under it the fraud report the lawyer had filed that afternoon. His face went gray. "Where did you get this?" "Same place Dad kept it," I said. "In a safe deposit box with a note that said, 'For when he comes for the house.'" Desmond backed toward the door. "You don't understand the situation. I understand you forged a signature 30 years ago and got away with it. And I understand you thought a grieving kid wouldn't check." That's when I heard car doors outside. The lawyer had told me to have him here at 7. 2 detectives were already walking up the driveway. Desmond spun around, and I watched him realize the one door my parents spent their whole lives keeping shut had just closed behind him.